So today the Daily Politics is catching up with public advocate Bill de Blasio. So what are you working on and what's on your mind?
We're working on making sure that parents have an actual voice in their schools, and I'm a public school parent myself, so this is a very direct personal issue for me. We have just put together a report that shows that the Department of Education has consistently made decisions about schools, where they're going to be, where they're going to be located, these quote-unquote co-locations, without meaningfully involving parents, and that in many cases means that these co-locations aren't going to work or aren't going to work as well as they could. We surveyed parents, almost 900 parents across the city, in schools that were in the middle of this co-location process. We found tremendous lack of information that these parents had experienced, that literally the main document they were supposed to receive, that was supposed to be the whole discussion template for this process, the education impact statement, the vast majority of these parents didn't even know it existed. And then when you actually look at these things, they're not particularly easy to understand. They're not particularly helpful. They don't talk about the practical impact on their kids. So we're going to be working on this issue for months to come to make sure there's real reforms in the DOE policy, and if necessary, changes to state law to tighten up the fact that there has to be meaningful parent input, community input, and time to actually make changes based on that input.
And I know that you've actually been going out into the community
That's
to
right.
listen to what people have to say. What kinds of things are they telling you that they're worried about?
I think, when you talk about education, you hear very consistently from parents a sense that things could be done so much better if they were actually at the table, and a feeling that a lot of decisions are made very, not just insensitively, but in a way that isn't as effective. And a sense that it's very difficult to access information from the Department of Education or to play a meaningful role in the process.
Just to wrap up, what's bugging you personally? What's not working for you in state politics, local politics, national politics? There was, I know you've been outspoken on the stop and frisk
Yes.
policy, for example.
Everyone said, and here are some of the most impressive law enforcement folks in this state, and one of them for sure is going to be the top law enforcement official in this state next year. They all said a database keeping the names of innocent New Yorkers is wrong. Now, none of us said we disrespect the police commissioner, for example, for taking the other position. I think we were all very respectful about it and believe that he has a strong viewpoint based on his own experience, but just like we have a strong viewpoint based on our experience. But the tone in some of the debate since then, I think, has been a little nasty and a little too intense in terms of suggesting that somehow this change is going to lead to a more dangerous city. I think that's possible. I think it would have been better for some of the folks who didn't agree with me or the governor or the attorney general candidates to say, we respect that position. Here's our fear. We're all going to work together to fight crime but also protect civil liberties, instead of taking a position which I think was a little sensationalist and drawing some conclusions I don't think hold water.
Okay, great. Well, thanks so much for catching
you.
up with the Daily Politics.
My pleasure.